Hi, Graham Roberts here, and welcome to Database Tutorial 4. Well, in a relational database, it shouldn't be surprising that relationships are indeed very important, and that's why we're spending so much time on them. We're now going to discuss recursive relationships, and indeed redundant relationships. In order to see this, it may help just to see me make one in this ERD diagram application. So I'm just going to do File, New, and we've got a new file. And I'm going to start and add an entity. I'm going to call this entity Customers. Here we have it, and we'll have another one, and I think we'll have this one as Sales. Better have a capital letter. And we need a relationship between these two. Let's just do it this way. So I'm going to add a relationship, and notice that it's saying it's from Sales, because that was the last one selected, to Customers. And probably I want to think of this arrow going the other way, but just bear this in mind. We get a relationship property, and we can choose the cardinality of one or many, and one or many on both sides, the first entity and the second. I may say the right and the left. Now the cardinality on the right hand side should be many for Sales, and for Customers it should be one. We must have a customer, but we don't have to have a sale. So as it sits at the moment, it looks okay with the way those two properties are configured. So as it reads at the moment, each sale entry may be associated with one or more customer entries. Each customer entry must be associated with one sales entry. Do you think that is right? Pause and consider. Well, let's see what it produces. And that's what it produces. What do you think now? What you should spot is the one-to-many is the wrong way round. Now the reason it's the wrong way round is because we started the wrong way round. And it does matter which direction the arrow is going in. So let's choose the defaults and start again. So I click this, delete it, and I'm going to add, make sure this is selected this time, and I'm going to add a relationship and make it to Sales, and the default says this. Now we're on the right lines, aren't we? Because it's one-to-many, but we know that the sale is optional, not the customer. So let's just change that. Change the customer to mandatory and the sale to option, and read what it says. Each customer's entry must be associated with one or many sales entries, and each sales entry may be associated with one customer. Okay, now we're going to create a new entity called boss. Okay, so now a boss. What if the boss is self-employed, so he's the only employee there, and we're looking at employment? Well, we can actually make a reference which is to himself. Now this is called a recursive relationship, and in general they're not of much use other than looking at the if you like, the mathematical side of databases. They don't actually make much progress to our learning about how to make databases useful. Now the other kind of relationship you may need to be aware of is redundant relationships. These are relationships already indicated by other relationships. Well, might not be direct though. In the case of our example, there's a direct relationship between customers and products. Let's have a look at that. We don't actually have it on here because, well, it's redundant and I got rid of it. But let's discuss it. There is a direct relationship with customers and products, but we can get to the products that were bought by a customer by following the relationships that we have already in the diagram. What I mean is, we know that a customer buys something, and so it will be in the sales record, and the sales entity will be able to be traced back in some way to the products entity. So we'll be able to find out by following this, this, and this what the customer bought. So we don't need to have a relationship between here and here. If we had one, it's okay, it's just not needed, it's redundant, and so we ditch it and have no truck with it at all. We just don't need it, it's redundant. Now it also follows that customer has a relation in other ways that could be declared redundant. But in this particular case, we can see that there's no need for one between customer and products. The good news is that if you put them into your model, after a little bit of consideration, you can simply delete them. In our next tutorial, we're going to solve the tricky problem of many-to-many relationships. The example between sales and products, and between products and shops. We're going to make those model many-to-many relationships go away, and we're going to make it so we have one-to-many relationships on either side of an invented entity to do that in the next tutorial.